Good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to the Inside Out High Performance Podcast mini-series. And this mini-series is going to be episodes that we are going to run over the next few weeks over the course of Championship to help you be mentally sharper, more focused, more present, more engaged, and ultimately get your performance levels that you are capable of doing. These will be short 10 to 20 minute episodes that you can do at any time, whether that's doing your recovery, going for a walk, driving in the car, on the way to work, to help you tap into your potential. Let's jump ahead and get started. So, episode 2 of the Locked In podcast, and here we are, round 2 in Championship, and now's when things start to get a little bit more interesting. And today is going to be a really short and sweet episode. And why I want to keep it short and sweet is, again, coming around this time with Championship, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of conversations. There's reviewing the previous game. There's looking ahead to the next game. There's just lots of information going around. So today is going to be really short, really sweet, and just something for you nice to take away. How I want to team today's session is around a person you might not have heard before. She is a woman from the US, born in the 1940s, and her name is Wilma Rudolph. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Hopefully you haven't heard her before. If you have heard of her, you will know how much of an incredible person that this person was and what she defined. And before I get into her story, to start off, I want to talk about this idea of belief and confidence. And I've said this many times before, but belief ultimately comes from the Latin word fidere, which when translated directly means trust. And ultimately what belief is, it's a trust in something without having evidence. And a lot of us have belief and confidence, but we have it based on evidence and we base it on control. And that's the ultimate thing of what even religion is all about. It's about having faith, having a belief in something that you don't know is fully, have all the evidence to prove that's right, but it's a feeling, it's a choice, it's a decision. And to me, that's what ultimately belief is about. It's a choice. It's a choice to say, what am I going to do in this situation? What am I going to do about what I have? What is the decision and choice I'm ultimately going to make based on me, based on my values, based on my character, based on what I want to hold close within my heart, not my head? Because the heart will always keep you open and the head will always keep you closed. And that is the ultimate part of getting to belief. It's getting to that deeper part of asking them deeper questions yourself, saying, what do I truly believe, and what do I truly want to take away, and what am I truly going to make a choice and decision on right now? And that's why Wilma Rudolph is the most perfect example of ultimately, to me, what belief actually really means. And for anyone who doesn't know, Wilma Rudolph, she was American, as I've said, born in the 1940s. She was actually child 20 out of 22. Someone was very busy. I won't get into anything more. We don't want to create into that type of podcast. But she was the 20th of 22 children, born in Tennessee. But she was born prematurely, and particularly in the 1940s back then, we hadn't obviously as much, medical supplies, medical knowledge. And particularly back then, if you were born premature, you'd be exposed to a lot of diseases and illnesses, which she contracted a disease called polio, which basically left her paralysed in a wheelchair at the age of 4 years old. They went to all the doctors, and they went to the top doctor, and this was a poor family from Tennessee, so they hadn't got much money. Went to the top doctor, and the doctor basically came back, told her mother and sat her down and said, she will never walk again. And they left the doctor that day. Wilma started to break down crying, and her mother said, we are not going to let that doctor dictate what you're going to do. So her mother started to go to a local physio back in the day of what that was in the 1940s. And she started to do some exercises. So she started to get stronger, and suddenly now she wasn't in a wheelchair, but she was on crutches. She could barely move. Every day her mother made her walk 3 to 4 miles in fucking crutches with braces around her left leg. As she started to get older, maybe by about 9 or 10, she was starting to just use one crutch. And by the age of 12, she was finally able to walk with no support on crutches or braces whatsoever. But this isn't the end of her story. So at the age of 12, she's finally just started to walk. And her main motivation on why she wanted to walk, when she was younger, she always watched her brothers and sisters, I think she's 20 to 20th of 22 children, running and playing around. And she said, every day when I done my physio, when I done that 3 or 4 mile walk, I wanted to be able to play with my brothers and sisters. And that was her main driver. So now that she's able to walk, she still couldn't fully play with them. So then she started to jog. But she could barely walk, so never mind jog. But by the age of 16, and this is where it gets phenomenal, she wasn't just walking, she was now sprinting. And at the age of 16, she wasn't just sprinting. She was the youngest member of the US track team at the age of 16 going to compete in the 1956 Olympics. Now get your head around this. At the age of 12, she only learned how to walk. Within 4 years, she's now on the US track team going to compete in the Olympics, which she won a bronze medal in. 4 years. 4 years on from the 1956 Olympics, in the 1960 Olympics in Rome, she became the first American woman in history to win 3 gold medals in track and field at a single games. Put your head around that. Hold on a second. At the age of 12, she only learned how to walk. Within 8 years from then on, she wins 3 gold medals in Rome, in the Olympics, the first American woman to win 3 gold medals in track and field. To me, this is the epitome of what belief, trust, confidence, whatever you want to call it, resilience is actually all about. It's about when we are faced with these challenges and adversity, it's either the thing that holds us back or drives us forward. Kerry are the prime example of it this year. Everyone wrote them off. Their own people from at home wrote them off. Everyone said they're gone. And you harness that within you. You almost bottle that hurt up, and it transforms and transmutates into something that's deeper, more connected to your why. Why you're here, why you're doing it, why you play, what you play it for. And with this woman, Wilma Rudolph, her why was to be able to play with her brothers and sisters. But then when that became, she wanted something deeper. She wanted to prove to that fucking doctor to say, you'll never be out of a wheelchair. And goes on and wins 3 gold medals in the 1960 Olympics. This is what's possible when we are committed to creating our own story. When we're committed to not allowing external noise, external people, external situations of things that we can't control dictate who we are, how we perform, and how we turn up. When we are internally driven by something that's connected to our heart and not our head, phenomenal things can start to happen. And science will probably never explain how she was able to not just get out of a wheelchair, but run and become a 3-time gold medal Olympic champion. Science will probably never be able to prove that, because that's what faith and belief is about. It's about being connected to that highest, deepest part of yourself, your teammates, your community, your people around you. It's being about connected to something deeper than that no matter what happens, you are going to give every ounce of yourself towards that. And she never knew how far she could go. But one thing was for sure, whether she was able to walk, there was one thing for sure that was going to happen. She was never going to look back and say, I didn't let other people or old shitty stories hold me back from what my potential could be. That's the one thing she didn't let happen. So this weekend, and all the weekends beyond this moment in time now, start to change your fucking story. Start to build that story that builds the life, that builds the performance, that builds the decisions that you want to live and be by. Because every decision we make is not based on the decision, it's based on the belief. And whatever the belief we hold on to is driven by the stories that we tell ourselves over and over and over and over and over. If Wilma Rudolph every day had that doctor in her head that says you'll never be out of a wheelchair, she probably would be still in a wheelchair. But she had that doctor who said you'll never be out of a wheelchair, but she internalized that and used that to her advantage. So whether you won the first game or lost the first game, it doesn't fucking matter. What matters is the decision and choice that you now decide to harness from that to come into this weekend. And not just this weekend, but beyond this weekend. That's what actually matters, because that's what belief is actually all about. It's about holding on to something. It's about putting everything on the line for something. It's about believing in your deepest heart and the deepest part of you that says, I am not fucking giving up on this. And whatever it takes, whatever I need to do, whatever barriers I need to break down, whatever stories I need to tell myself, wherever I need to go, I'm going to go. That's what it's about.